Welcome to my channel. Today I want to talk about another step in manifesting, and this step is your thoughts. And I'm not talking about positive thinking, I'm not talking about affirmations, and I'm not talking about trying to control your mind. But the actual thoughts you think every day do create the reality that you're living. They are quietly and consistently shaping your entire experience in this lifetime. And I want to talk about this because most people don't realize this. They may have heard it before, but they don't really actually understand what this means. And knowing this information and being able to use this information effectively will change your entire life. You will experience the life that you choose rather than the life you were programmed to believe you're supposed to have. Because right now, your life is not responding to what you want or to your desires, but it is responding to what you think is true. Your truth is not reality. It's just your truth. You can change your truth, which in turn means you can change your entire reality. This is actually so exciting when you understand this. And the other problem with thoughts controlling your life is that most of what you believe, you didn't choose. It was chosen for you. It was given to you. It was passed down. It was experienced. It was told by stories or other people's perception of reality. Your thoughts feel personal, but most of them are inherited. And when a thought is repeated enough, it stops feeling like a thought and it starts feeling like reality. So that's what we're going to unpack today. So a belief is just a thought that you keep thinking. And a lot of what I'm going to talk about is things that have been passed on from people who study the mind, who study manifesting, who understand how our thoughts become reality. But there's one little thing I want to add on top of that, which is newer information. And that is starting in 27, we are moving from a masculine to a feminine energy. And this isn't in the sense of gender. Masculine energy is about stability, structure, hierarchy. It's about government and systems. And then feminine energy is all about flow, doing what you love, being on the vibration of what you want, energy. It's very like nurturing and flowy energy. So the reason it's important for you to understand this is up until now, the beginning of 2026, we've had a little more of a grace period with our thoughts. So you think a thought, become a belief, you might even believe it for a few years, and it took time to actually manifest into a reality in your life. And whatever you had been thinking in the past is what you were experiencing, but it was a little more slow burning. And even in the book, The Secret, they talked about that's lucky. We're lucky that it takes time because if you think of an elephant and it shows up in your living room, that's a problem, right? So it was good that it could take time for it to happen. Now, 2027 and even the beginning of 2026, because now we're moving towards this energy, it's moving faster. Everything's happening faster. Your thoughts are becoming your reality faster. And this is because that feminine energy is so energetic and flowy. It's grabbing on it. That's what you want. That's what you believe. This is the life that you have. Here you go. So it's more important than ever that we retrain our thoughts to think what we actually want, to desire and have desire and thought match. Because the closer we get to 2027, the faster those manifestations are coming through. And if you're not manifesting on purpose, then you're just manifesting any belief that was handed down to you. Okay, so that was my little caveat. But let's talk about thoughts being things. So the book, The Secret, if you ever read it, it was kind of where my journey started a couple decades ago. Talk about how thoughts are things and how they become physical. But here's the part people miss. Thoughts don't become things. Thoughts don't become real because they're true. They become real because they're rehearsed and now they show up as your reality. You were told things as a child. You watched how money worked. You observed relationships. You felt what was safe and what wasn't. And then your nervous system made conclusions that nailed in what your beliefs were, especially before 8 years old. From before 8 years old, from conception to 8 years old, everything around you, everything that you heard, everything that you experienced, everything that was spoken to you becomes a very deep truth and the most ingrained truth inside of you. It's the hardest to unwind. And this is because at 8 years old, our subconscious grows a filter. And that filter allows us to say, do I believe that or do I not believe it? It allows us to start questioning things and decide, like, is this my truth? Is it going in my mental library, or am I going to leave this one behind? But before that, it's just you're an open vessel for information, and everything that comes in becomes your truth. And then you start believing this is just how it is. That's how thoughts become beliefs. And it continues after 8 years old. So anything that's said to you, if it's said to you by someone you love or you admire or you think is smarter than you, so most adults, older siblings, even friends, if they tell you and you respect them or you love them and you think they have your best interest, a lot of times they do, they just don't know better. You take it on as your truth. And now this becomes your belief library. It becomes a place where everything in your life is going to be created from, and you didn't even consciously choose it. And then it becomes the lens through which you see everything through. Again, you don't see reality as it actually is. You see it in the way you were conditioned to see it. So just take a second and think about, what have you been conditioned to believe about money, about love, about safety, success, about yourself? And not just what you were told once, but what you observed and that you've believed over and over again. Because your thoughts didn't come from nowhere. They came from experience. So when I first start doing this work with someone, they're like, how the heck am I supposed to control every single thought I have? We're thinking thoughts all the time, constantly. There's no way to grab every single thought and control it. And this is true. And so this is why I teach that feelings are your little detector of where your thoughts predominantly are. So how you feel is like a way to tell you, what am I mostly thinking about? If you're mostly thinking about very positive things, you're going to feel uplifted. You're going to feel happy. If you're mostly thinking about stressful things and things that are heavy or pulling you down or stressing you out, then you're going to feel stressed. You're going to feel sad. You're going to feel hopeless. So what I tell people to start with is the 80-20 rule. So this means that if you can hold yourself in a high vibration 80% of the time, then your feelings will be mostly positive, which means you're holding yourself in a good place. And if you're super serious about doing this work, going on this journey and changing your entire life, great activity to do. It's time consuming, but it's absolutely worth it, is to set an alarm on your phone every hour or every couple hours and just check in with yourself, only during waking hours, not in the middle of the night. And just check with yourself when it goes off. 2 seconds. Like, what do I feel right now? How am I feeling? Am I happy? Am I stressed? Am I neutral? Like, where am I at? And just jot it down. Stick it in the note sections of your phone or have a journal. And that's it. Just take a few seconds, check in with yourself. And then you can see after 3 or 4 days or even a week, like, where are you mostly at? And that will tell you what your thoughts mostly are. If you're mostly stressed, we have some work to do on our thoughts. If you're mostly happy and joyful, then we can move forward and build more happy and joyful frequencies. So Bob Proctor from The Secret said, you don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. And we'll talk about this in another episode, but your identity has everything to do with how you feel and how you think. And what you are is simply what you think about most often. Not what you think occasionally, not what you put on your vision board, what you think most of the time. Your thoughts create who you are. So just ask yourself honestly, what emotional state do I live in often? Not what you post and not what you hope. Where are you living most of the time? And if you truly don't know, or if you are assuming, do the activity, write it down, check in with yourself every hour and ask yourself where you're at. And when you do this activity, honesty is so important, because if you're just saying like, I feel good, but you don't actually feel good, don't write good. Just be like neutral, not really noticing anything, or, ooh, I'm a little stressed if I look at my gut. Like, write down truly what's happening, because if you don't have a honest, clear picture of where you're at, we can't get you to the next level. So another powerful tool that I teach people when I work with them is the 90-second rule. The 90-second rule was a game changer for me, because all of us are going to have reaction to stressful, hard situations. And we can't beat ourselves up for having an emotion or a feeling. We're human. This is part of our experience. However, there's a 90-second rule. There is actually research that shows that we have an initial reaction that lasts 90 seconds to anything that happens to us. So if you stub your toe, you're going to have a 90-second reaction where you might freak out, cry, yell, scream, whatever your reaction is in that moment. But after 90 seconds, it is a choice to stay in that energy. If someone makes you mad, someone makes a comment or a statement to you that like triggers you, you can't control the instant, like what happens. So if you tell me I'm an idiot, and then all of a sudden my reaction might be like, what did I do? Why did they think that about me? Or am I an idiot? Whatever your programming is going to dictate what this reaction probably naturally is. But you're going to have some kind of emotional reaction that you have zero control over. Let yourself feel it. Let yourself go through it, but only give yourself 90 seconds. Once you've sat in it for 90 seconds, now it's a choice to continue it. And the thing that keeps that emotion alive inside of us is the continuance after that 90 seconds, the story we start telling ourselves. Have you ever thought a thought that was sad and all of a sudden you remember every sad thing that's ever happened? Like, oh man, that's really sad. Oh my gosh, this one time that happened, that was so sad. Or even on social media, like you hit a sad video or something and you start watching it and then I cry. And then all of a sudden I'm like, what if this happens to me? What if this? What if that? Like, it's so easy to go down this whole journey of sadness if we allow ourselves to stay in it. So the story keeps it alive, the story we keep telling ourselves inside our head. And then the third is the meaning that we assign it. So, oh, that must have happened because XYZ. We start putting not only our story, not only do we replay it, but then we assign a meaning to it. Like, I must be an idiot, or I must not be good at X, Y, and Z. Whatever it is, whatever we assign to it, it now becomes part of our mental library. And then it holds us in that emotional and lower vibrational state for longer. So that end of that 90 seconds is the moment when choice really matters. Staying upset is not a personality trait. People will say, well, I'm a water sign, or I'm just an emotional person. No, it's a practice. You've practiced staying in that state, and now it's a natural place that you go. It's not your personality. And staying in a high frequency does not mean that we're never reacting. That's unrealistic. It's about not camping out there. We're not going to build anything on top of this negative emotional foundation. We're visiting and we're leaving. We're riding the emotional wave that we need to, and we're exiting. We're getting what we need out of the reaction, and then we're moving on to a true belief about something better. So next time you feel triggered, here are 3 things to ask yourself. Number 1, am I still reacting, or am I now thinking and creating a belief? Number 2, what story am I telling myself right now? What story am I writing into the library of my life in my subconscious? And then number 3, is this story serving the future that I want? Answering these 3 questions is where freedom starts. Okay, so this is where it gets super fascinating. So years ago, I was studying a lot about the mind. And I'm one of those people that I read The Secret. I understood what manifesting was, but I had to prove why it worked. So then I read the science behind The Secret, which was a little bit boring, but I needed it. I needed to understand the science of it. Why is the law of attraction a thing? Why does manifesting happen? And I went on this whole rabbit hole of really figuring it out. And once I figured out how and why, and I really understood it to be true, I started following the work of Mandy Morris. She was someone who worked on the brain. I can't remember what exactly she did for her job, but she did a lot of stuff with the brain and understanding like how the brain works and trauma work and all that. And she accidentally discovered manifesting because she would see things happen and frequencies and all that. So she was so fascinating to me because I love that stuff. So she once found a study about when you remove blood from your body. So like say you do like a blood draw. The study was they took the blood and put it in another building. So there was two buildings next to each other. They had all the people who did the blood draw who were doing this experiment, and they put them in front of a TV and put on a scary movie. And then they watched the blood as they reacted to the scary movie. The blood actually changed. To me, that is so crazy. Like, it's a part of you. Your blood is like such a like piece of your DNA, right? And so your DNA changes even outside of the body. It has reactions even after it's left your body. So that is manifesting in action to me. Like they have this reaction and the energy and the frequency changed every part of this person. And this is how we change bloodlines. This is how when you heal yourself, you heal your children and you heal your parents. Like it works both ways because everything that you heal and all the work that you do, the self-discovery, the manifesting journey, anything that you do to actually heal yourself heals so much more than just you. So this just tells us your body is not separate from your thoughts, and your thoughts are not just local. They are informational, energetic, and communicative. And your body believes your thoughts. Whatever you believe to be true, your body believes, and it's the reality that is created for you because your brain will find ways to make it true if you believe it. If you think you're unsafe, your body prepares. Like, have you ever been in a car with someone and you're like, why are they riding so close? Oh my gosh, we're going to get in an accident. I do this to my husband all the time. But your body like tenses up because you're like waiting for like impact. So when you feel unsafe, the body prepares. If you think there's not enough, your body contracts. And if you think things always work out for you, your body relaxes. And relaxed systems receive more. That's just frequency, not vibes in a fluffy way, but biological readiness. So just take a second and think, where does my body live most of the time? Are you tight? Shoulders up here? Is your jaw tight? Are you braced? Are you rushed? Are you constantly in like fight or flight because you got to go and get so much done? Or are you open, settled, and present? Your frequency isn't mystical, it's embodied. So going back to The Secret, because I think it's such a great starting point when you're first learning manifesting or understanding manifesting. It says the universe doesn't respond to what you say once. It responds to what you consistently broadcast. So if you're constantly saying, I'm out of shape, I'm broke, my boyfriend's a jerk, but then every now and then you're going into this mode, like I'm going to raise my frequency, I'm going to do this, and you start saying like, I'm wealthy, I'm doing so great, but you don't believe it, and then the rest of the week you're going, well, I'm broke, well, I can't do it, I can't do this. There's not enough. It's not what you say once. It's not because you had a good day and made a vision board and said some affirmations. It's what you consistently broadcast. It's just like when you're changing your body. Like you don't go to the gym once and lose weight or gain muscle. You don't eat one healthy meal and change your body chemistry. You build a pattern. The more consistent you get with it, the better your results become. So this is about building a thought pattern. You don't fight negative thoughts, you outnumber them. Just having higher frequency thoughts more often, thoughts that make you feel good more often. And when you allow more aligned narratives to dominate your inner thoughts and your dialogue, that's the work. Not perfection, just consistency. So just to close, a thought I'd like to leave you with, your life isn't happening to you. And be careful of saying, why is this happening to me? Why does this always happen to me? Those types of words, they create that pattern. If you say, why does this always happen to me? It's going to continue to happen because you're literally speaking it into existence. So your life isn't happening to you. It is responding to you. You're not being punished. you're being reflected. Whatever you're thinking and feeling is mirrored back to you in the life that you're living, the reality that you're experiencing. Your thoughts only become your truth because you've thought them long enough, which means you can choose new ones and you can think them long enough and feel them long enough to make them your new reality. You do not need to master your mind. You need to guide it. And just practice the 80-20 rule. Hold those feelings 80% of the time. Things happen. You're human. We're here for an emotional experience, but you don't have to live there. And you don't have to experience it as your reality. One thought at a time, one emotional state at a time, and over time, your outer world has no choice but to change. If this resonated with you, I would love for you to put in the comments one sentence. The thought I am choosing to practice is, and then just add the thought. When we write things down and when we put them out there for others to see, it's a huge sign to the universe that we're ready to move forward. We want to be seen. We want the universe and everyone around us to see that this is our new frequency. And this is why we do things like comment publicly what we want, what our new practice is. And that is because what you practice becomes who you are. And who you are is creating everything. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next week.